I need a stand for this camera. It doesn't, or like some real good Velcro or something to stick it on my dash. I need like a, anyways, we're gonna go to the store. I am gonna go to the store and I need to get some things. I need to get some pizza too, you know. Do you ever have like a day in the week that like you just can't even? Our day of the week is Wednesday. Wednesday, we usually have a lot of stuff going on in the afternoon and into the evening, and so to create time, sit down family time for dinner is at times impossible. So I have designated Wednesdays as pizza day, and it's kind of like casual dinner day. I think we have like 2-3 casual dinner days a week. So my daughter was in the lunch line yesterday, and at the end of the line, she asks the lunch lady, "Can I please have that bag of chips right there?" And she said like which chips she wanted. To which the lunch lady said something like, "You don't talk to me like that." And my daughter, like, it kind of took my daughter back, and she said, I'm sorry. I thought I was being kind. I didn't know I had said anything wrong. And her friend next to her was like, "No, you're fine, you're fine." Well, the lunch lady goes and gives her like a completely different bag of chips. I don't know if that was in spite or that was because the lunch lady misunderstood. And so my daughter kind of felt like a little bad about it. She was like, "What did I do? Did I do something wrong?" You know, and there has been, I've noticed a lot of like instant jumping to conclusions, instant negativity, this like, I feel like we've got two ends of the spectrum going on right now. You're either like doing really good and you're like holding love and light for like everyone, or you're ready to pick a bone with anyone. But I've just noticed it like just in these past few days, how much misunderstanding there is, you know? And, oh, is that my friend Nancy? It looks like just like her. So hi Nancy, if that's you, go dude. There are those who do like the pregnant pauses after the green light. They are the ones that teach me the patience. I went to the gym the other day. I can't remember what day. It was last week though. And every day at the gym, after my run, I tend to take a picture of myself. It's something that I do to keep myself accountable, and you know, I worked really hard to get where I'm at. And when I say worked really hard, it wasn't just learning how to control my need for food. It was like I had to learn a lot of new things about me, and I had to learn that a lot of my poor relationships were the reason why I stayed in an unhealthy state. And I had to learn just a lot of things, and so I did work very hard. You know, I had to choose many times between a friend and being healthy, especially in a time where I could have used all the friends in the world, and especially during a time where I still didn't really know my identity. So friends were exactly what I needed. But at any rate, so I was in the bathroom. It's like the gym locker section of the bathroom. And with this weather, I swear on my life, I'm like always blowing my nose, you know, so it's like after my run, I have to blow my nose anyway. So I go into the locker room, I blow my nose, and then I take a picture. I put it up on Instagram. I do that to keep me accountable. And I love, like, it humbles me so much when people write and say, because of your pictures, I went to the gym today. Or because of your pictures, I signed up for this dance class or whatever. And that like makes, like, I can't explain how much that makes my day. So I'm in this locker room area and I take a picture. And this one gal walks in, like right as I'm taking a picture. And usually no one's in the bathroom at 5:15 in the morning because no one's there at 5:15, especially females. All the females that are there usually are on the treadmills and they like spend the hour on the treadmills. There's maybe a couple other gals that are regulars who don't do just treadmills. They'll do weights and track like me. So this one gal walked in whom I've never seen before and instantly gives me this like dirty look. Maybe I read it wrong, but usually I'm one who's pretty good at energy feels, you know, and being that I didn't know this girl at all, usually you know, when I don't know a person and I'm standing next to them, I usually come with a pretty like clean slate when it comes to what I think that I will get from them. Like I come pretty unexpected. You know, I give the benefit of the doubt. You know, so I think absolutely neutral about her, and I just assume that she would think neutral about me. Well, the ions in the air, I don't know what atoms in the air, what is it that's in the air, suddenly like had a shift. She kind of gave me a look, but I was like, wait a second, did I really feel that? So I kind of like turned to look at her to like say hi or something, you know, like, hey, welcome. And she was having none of it. And I thought, okay, whatevs, you know, like, you know, we have our days, we have our bad days, whatever. Well, a couple days later, she showed up again, and it was the same thing. I thought, wow, you know, we definitely jumped to conclusions, you know, and I feel like she instantly judged me. Maybe she thought I was vain because I was taking a picture of me, but you know, part of me was thinking, you know, if you could just see my before and after, you would understand why I take pictures of myself, you know, every day at the gym. You know, this is something that keeps me accountable. It's something that keeps me driven to do what I do. Well, I'm done at Walmart. I thought it was quite interesting that for it being like 12:30, I've never seen so many people at Walmart. I mean, usually there's a good amount of people, but there was a lot of people there. Like, the self-checkout line was, like, backed up. Usually I use the self-checkout line. I think there's a lot of people who are remembering about Valentine's Day today. I mentioned in my other vlog, which I recorded earlier, my pre-gym vlog thing, you know, about how I've been, like, a social recluse, and I've been that way since the beginning of the year, and how, like, I've mentioned the energies have been crazy, and to be completely honest, like, I don't mention a lot of that stuff. I feel like some of the things that I believe in and some of the things that I find are truths are unpopular. And not that, like, they are unpopular in the sense that they will get, like, shunned or anything like that, but I have been going about life with my own feel and absorbing what resonates as truth within and letting go of what doesn't and what hurts and harms me. So a lot of times I don't talk about, like, what I believe because I don't think there's even a for what I believe. You know, I feel like I'm just a sponge and I'm just absorbing like a ton of stuff, and I feel like especially since the new year, I feel like I've just been like, I've gone within kind of like a hermit or something, and just kind of like nestled within myself and unintentionally kind of became a little bit of a social recluse. I don't feel at all lonely, you know. I know who I can turn to for just about anything when it comes to, like, people and to God, and I'm grateful for that. And I've just found that, like, as I go inward and as I become more sensitive to me, I have found myself to be more sensitive to what is around me, and to the like the energy of how life feels, and how like the collective people feel. It sounds like it makes all this sense in my mind, but it's hard to explain. I feel like many times I want to come on here and talk to you guys about like in-depth things that like I've like come across, and I've you know, or I've felt within, and many times I felt like I have been doing a hindrance by not speaking my truth, and about not explaining how I feel and what I feel and why I feel it, and or explain why I think I feel something. And I think it's just because I wasn't necessarily taught, like I was taught to always listen to the still small voice, and to listen to what the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit tells you, and to always pray, and always have Christ be your example, and I still do the same thing. But I was never really taught about energies, and about like how, like I've been taught about you know, if something doesn't feel right. For instance, like I took my 2 boys out around one of the neighborhoods here to do scouting for food, and that's where they collect canned food or boxed food and in the neighborhood by the people here. They go door to door, ask, you know, if they wouldn't mind donating some canned food. I'm sure you guys have seen them. I'm sure they've come around your house once a year. If you want, you donate and you can give them some canned food, and then they donate it to the poor and the needy. And so I took my 2 boys out to do this route, and my oldest son, walked up to this one door first before my second son did, and immediately as he walked up to the door, he turned around and walked away. And I rolled down the window because I watch them. I make sure that I can see the front door, you know, when I take them to each house, so that I, you know, and there's rules. You don't go in their house, even though it was so cold that day. It was so cold that day. It was really, I felt bad. It was like windy and cold. And it was like 20 degrees, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And so I watched as my son walked up to the door, didn't even knock, and turned around and walked back. I rolled down my window and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he goes, "That house did not feel right." And I said, "Okay." Then we don't go to that house, you know. And having him trust that something wasn't right with that house, you know, and teaching him to trust those feelings within, which in a sense is energy. There is, according to my son, a deep, dark energy that is residing in that location that just doesn't match what he feels is comfortable. So those are things I taught, but like I was never taught to it as like energies and energies by the moon, and energies because of the way the planets are, and energies because of this and because of that, and those kind of things. Those are never things I was really taught. So I feel like it's like a new venture for me, and I think because I wasn't taught it, I don't talk about it very much. But one thing I've noticed in doing all this soul searching, and in like seeing how absolutely imperfect I am, I no longer see people so much for their imperfections. You know, like I give the benefit of the doubt like way more. Like I always think or thought, I always thought I gave the benefit of the doubt, and I believe I did. You know, my mom raised me good. She raised me to give the benefit of the doubt to anyone and everyone. You know, give it until there's proof enough to no longer give it. And I used to judge, like, according to, like, where you came from, how you spoke, what you wore, how you did your hair, how you wore your makeup, how you didn't wear makeup. Like, all these kind of, like, just silly things that really say nothing about the soul of a person. And I realized just this year how I have dismissed a lot of those things that I used to look upon people for, and have really found the heart of people. I like to believe that most people are good people and are doing their best with what they know. And so I've found it interesting that within this time, I've really I think I've shed a few of my own issues within myself, and have found in doing that I feel closer to me, closer to God, to the earth, to the universe, and then closer to people. How much I value the time that they give me. And how I see someone more than just like a simple human being. I see them as a soul, and as a person that at least one other person on this earth loves, and just loves more than anything. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all these energy shifts and everything that have happened with these full moons and super blue blood moons and all that stuff that you know, well, we've only had 2 full moons since this new year, but it feels like it's been a million of them. And so I'm grateful for these like small and steady changes that have happened. And I'm always a student. Like I always find myself like questioning God, questioning like what more can I learn, and am always in student mode. And I realize it's quite fun being in student mode. That's everything. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. So I'll let you go.